Welcome to tonight's forum on African American entrepreneurship in Redding and Berks County. We are honored that Senator Schwank has partnered with the NAACP for tonight's event. We want this event to be participant-driven and welcome everyone to share your experiences with Senator Schwank and learn about state resources for minority-owned businesses. If you have a comment, please raise your hand or let us know in the chat. But before we get started, I want to introduce Senator Schwank, who really needs no introduction. Senator Schwank has represented District 11 for the past 10 years. Senator Schwank recognizes that the needs and concerns of the residents of the 11th Senatorial District are not limited by its boundaries. Her achievements in government and nonprofit realms reflect Senator Schwank's interest in and advocacy for sustainable growth and prosperity, both locally and statewide. Senator Schwank has dedicated most of her adult life to public service. A former Berks County Commissioner, the first female Berks County Commissioner, I might add, Senator Schwank has been committed to serving the people of Berks County. Her passion for promoting sustainable growth, prosperity, and preserving agricultural integrity has been exemplified through her many accomplishments in public service. Senator Schwank is a fellow Penn Stater, having received her BS and MED in agricultural education from Penn State University, and she also completed the Executive Leadership Program through the Institute for Conservation Leadership and the Institute for the Management of Lifelong Education at Harvard University. She attributes her success to her parents, who taught her that public service, a strong work ethic, and personal integrity were the keys to a rewarding life. Senator Schwank serves as the Democratic Chairman of the Senate Agriculture and Rural Affairs Committee. During the current 2021 to 22 legislative session, she also will serve on the Senate Appropriations Committee, Aging and Youth, Game and Fisheries, and Health and Human Services Committees. Finally, Senator Schwank has been married to her husband Jim for 30 years and has 3 adult children and 5 grandchildren. Senator Schwank, do you have any opening remarks?
I do, Winton, thank you. And hopefully everybody hung on through that long bio. I apologize for that. This is a really exciting night for me. I have, through the years in my service as commissioner and as a state senator, Black History Month has been something that I have always tried to highlight and to bring more people into the fold in terms of understanding, our history here in our community. Right in Berks alone, a very vibrant and strong community and growing. And so, we've done different things over the years, highlighted different leaders, but I thought perhaps this year would be a good idea to partner with the NAACP and talk about, entrepreneurship. What are the contributions of the African American and Black communities to Berks County? What's going on in the business world? And, what kinds of resources are individuals in our community looking for? And in light of, recent legislation that has passed that will, help in terms of grants and resources to entrepreneurs, I thought this was a perfect topic. And then talking with Stacy Taylor, our NAACP president, and Winton Butler, we felt that this would be a great forum tonight. So let me welcome everyone. I'm so glad that you're here with us tonight. We did get some questions from people ahead of time, so we'll be trying to answer those, but I'd like this to be a really informal conversation, right, Winton? That's what we're looking for. So we'll talk about that. And I also will tell you that we've got some folks with us tonight that are incredible resources. We have 2 people from the Small Business Development Center that's right here in Berks County at Kutztown University. And, the center's director, John Stenton, and assistant director, Keisha Sturdivant, are here with us tonight. And they'll be jumping in to answer questions about getting a business started. In our chat prior to the meeting, Keisha and I were saying, the Small Business Development Center is the best kept secret. Yep. And here it is right in our county, and a great resource for entrepreneurs, for people who are interested in, helping their existing business or starting a new business. So they'll be jumping in to help on some of the questions. Before we move on, I do want to give you a quick briefing on other measures out there to help. Last year, $96 million in grants were awarded in Pennsylvania under the COVID-19 relief Pennsylvania statewide small business assistance program. In Berks County, let's just talk about Berks, 363 businesses got help through this program, totaling $6.5 million, including minority-owned and women-owned businesses, as well as Main Street businesses. Specifically, more than 221 of those 363 were for the historically disadvantaged program, and that totaled $3.72 million. I'm particularly proud of that program because it originated out of my caucus, out of the Senate Democratic Caucus. This idea that we definitely had to look at those small businesses that weren't necessarily addressed by some of the other bigger federal programs. And we wanted to make sure we wanted to reach those businesses that sometimes just don't have the resources to access even the application. And so I think we were somewhat successful on that one. Coming up soon, and this is important to note, is the COVID-19 Hospitality Industry Recovery Program, or CHIRP. We love acronyms in government, don't we? And that will allocate $145 million in funding assistance to the hospitality industry and other businesses that were affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. The program requires counties to establish grant programs for eligible businesses. A lot of the resources that we'll talk about that are coming from the state actually go to the county, and then the county develops the program and implements it to get the dollars out. So one thing you're always going to want to do is make sure you go to the rebuildberks.com website for some of the applications, for example, for some of these programs that we're talking about. But this hospitality grant will be administered through the Greater Berks Development Fund. But Tom, I believe you still start with Rebuild Berks?
Yes. So Rebuild Berks is the county's kind of comprehensive website. So you should look for updates on the application process and also the start date, which will be March 15th. There's not a specific information up there yet, but it should be coming up soon.
Right. And the grants can be anywhere from $5,000 to $50,000 for eligible businesses. And based on the formula that they've developed for, what different counties will get, Berks County will be receiving about $4.9 million. So, we'll have some funding there, a new round of funding that is coming up. Some of you I know are involved in, the hospitality industry, restaurants, that type of thing, or do specific events. Kind of planning, things of that nature, that will qualify under this grant program. And we can talk about legislation as well. There's things that I'm working on that I hope will help us to, not only get through COVID, but also help us to address, particularly in light of this being Black History Month, some of the thorny problems, frankly, or issues that we faced in the Commonwealth in terms of equity and making sure that everybody can partake in the resources that are available, or feel free to, create their own, follow their own dreams in this Commonwealth. So there's legislation that I've introduced on that. There's other bills that are out there. We can talk about that in a little while, but I wanted you to know that I'm glad to be here with you tonight. I hope this is something we can do again if people are interested in it. And I hope you won't be shy, right, Winton? And ask your questions. So I'll turn it back to Winton Butler and ask him to continue with the program. Thank you.
Thanks, Senator. Okay, so I'm looking in the chat. Does anyone have a question? You can use the hand raise function or leave a comment in the chat.
Well, the senator talked about the entertainment industry. Are there any funds for other businesses? You know, for example, I do a newspaper, so entertainment would be not something I could take advantage of, but there are probably some others that I need to look into.
Exactly. I'm going to turn to Tom Gumbar, who handles the grant programs in our office. Tom, thoughts on that?
Well, in terms of programs that are open right now for non-hospitality related businesses, there's not anything open at this point. Now, that doesn't mean in the near future, if the U.S. Congress does pass this latest relief package, I guess they'll call it, that there'll be additional monies through that. In addition to that, there may be some other programs already in existence in the state's array of financial assistance programs that we can look to depending on your needs. And Small Business Development Center certainly can help maybe flesh that out, as can we by reaching out to the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development. So if you want to reach out to us tomorrow at the office, we'd be glad to discuss further in detail. That's probably the best way we can help you with your specific issue.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Dr. Ampry, you know, part of the reason why some of the funds, you know, the most recent legislation that I talked about in terms of the hospitality grants, included in that was also rent assistance and funds for community colleges and funds to schools to help them reopen. And as more, if there's a program that comes out of the federal government, if Congress and the president can agree on something, there likely will be more types of grant programs that will be coming out. A lot of us, particularly those of us involved in government, really hoping that the feds get it, that small governments like cities and boroughs and townships, have really suffered and have had huge costs associated with addressing the pandemic. So they're looking for funds too. So stay tuned.
I sure will. Thanks
Basically
again.
what I'm saying.
Okay, I'll ask a pre-submitted question. How can young minorities like myself start their own businesses when they struggle with large amounts of private student loans?
We'll turn to some of our experts here, from the Small Business Development Center. John, you had read that question earlier and you jumped in really quickly with a good answer on that. And Keisha Sturdivant is also here from the Small Business Center as well. And so a lot of your questions can be directed to them too. And maybe they'll talk a little bit about how do we get into, using your services? But let's deal with that debt issue, John, if you would.
Well, if you're talking in terms of student loan debt, private student loan debt, federal student loan debt, I completely get it. I have mounds of it myself. And a couple of different ways is to take advantage of government programs that are already offered, like income-based payment repayment plans, income sensitive repayment plans, which they take your income into account and usually don't charge you more than 10% of that per month for your loans. So, you could be a person making up to $50,000 a year and you're paying nothing on your student loans, but it's counting towards your repayment. So that's an advantage. And after, I believe it's 20 to 25 years, the balance of those loans gets wiped off clean. So it's a little bit of a slower method, but it's more budget conscious, if you can manage doing that. There's also different, you can take different types of deferments. You do have to be careful with that because some of the deferments also defer the interest, which piles on at the end. But some of them you can take like especially with the pandemic right now, an economic hardship deferment where you're not liable for the interest. You're not liable for payments for, up to a year, even you could do it for. I've seen people do that. I've done that myself. So it's more of focusing on the debt because it'll always be there. It will not go away. You can't get rid of it. It's there. So finding out different resources in your federal government, in your state government, in your community, utilizing those resources, and then coming up with a sound budget and a plan for yourself that you could still live and survive while paying these down.
Tom, I think you wanted to jump in on that too.
Yeah, just to kind of piggyback on what John has said. So there are a number of repayment options. You can consolidate your loans, and that will give you the ability to kind of customize your repayment plan. What you have to be careful of is that you can generally only consolidate government-based loans through government programs. You also have the private loans, which many students have to take out to kind of fill that gap beyond grant aid, scholarship aid, and any of the government-based loan programs. There are some lending institutions that offer refinancing options. The Pennsylvania Higher Education Assistance Agency, FIA, it's www.fia.org, has a package of loan products called PA Forward that students could look into. Again, it is a loan that you'll need to have an income, a credit history. They'll take into account your debt to income ratio. And in some cases, even those refinancing package, you may need a cosigner. The other thing to keep in mind, there is some serious talk going on right now in Washington, D.C. of either loan cancellation or loan forgiveness. We've heard $50,000 thrown around. That's kind of probably not on the table, but $10,000 seems to be a number that President Biden has focused on. So also look out for that. Also go on your federal education website, Federal Department of Education Financial Aid. You can Google that, and it'll show you the options there. And you can also contact FIA directly, and they can discuss with you what options you have. And again, FIA may not be your servicer. There could be other servicers. So whoever your servicing agency is, call them. And if you're looking for an option to make your loan payments each month more manageable, they do have an array of options to help students to make the loans more affordable.
And one other thing, if I could add and piggyback off of that as well. So a lot of times also think about when you're signing up for your financial aid and you're getting your packages and they're telling you, you're going to get $3,000 for the course, but the course is only costing you $1,200. Really think long and hard about, do I need that $1,800 and for what? Because that just adds to your loan debt. Instead of it, you can adjust that. You can tell them, I don't want $3,000. I only want $2,000 so I can get books and survive and all that. So just having a sound plan of what you're going to do, and don't rush into signing things that they're throwing in front of you, and just really kind of think about what the after effect is 4 years later.
John, just to keep it going, I was looking at my agenda, and one of the things I was supposed to do was to introduce you and Keisha and ask you to talk about the Small Business Development Center, because again, I think that is a real treasure in terms of helping people get started in business. So I'll turn to you, and then maybe Keisha, you can pick up from there.
Sure. So my name's John Stetler. I'm the director of the Kutztown University Small Business Development Center. We service Berks, Chester, Lebanon, Lehigh, and Dauphin counties. Everything we do at our center is no cost. So we provide help writing business plans, financial modeling, the HR component, market research, search engine optimization reports. So people are typing something in online and you want the most clicks you can get, the most people to visit your site. So what are keywords that others are using or you can use to do that? There's a variety of different PPP funding help that we do. We don't fill out the things for you, but we consult you and help you and guide you along the way to submit those things. We have partnerships with over 70 different banks, from micro loans to commercial loans for nonprofit partnerships that we have and developed. There's local community organizations, workforce development boards, and there's a lot of other partnerships that we have that we can get grant dollars for, or WEDNet dollars for workforce training. So there's a wide variety of services that we do that we're kind of, like Keisha said, we're the best kept secret. Nobody knows we exist, so we're trying to change that so we can help as many underserved people in our community as we can. There's different organizations such as our PTAC Center that help minority and women-owned businesses receive certifications that could reduce some costs with loans and things like that. So with that, I'll turn it over to Keisha so she can introduce herself as well.
Perfect. Thank you, John. Yeah, John pretty much summed it up. So Judy and I were talking earlier. We've been at many meetings together, and we are definitely the best kept secret. And really our goal is to help our entrepreneurs, our existing business owners to start, grow, and prosper. So really just looking at where you are today, where you want to be, and work on a plan for you. So are you able to see my screen, Pat, clearly? Yes. Okay, perfect. So to John's point, again, we service and partner with many in 5 different counties. And when we talk about Berks County, one of the things that the SBDC does is an ongoing 8-week Skills for Success program. We usually run it out of the chamber. But due to COVID, we've done this online, but it's been very successful and just helping entrepreneurs from start to finish. 8 weeks, just kind of going through, looking at a business plan, doing market research. So if you want to know about competition, information, about a particular industry, we can help you gather that information, work with you on financial, social media. It's endless. But the bottom line is I definitely can share this brochure as well as offer you the link to sign up as a client. So as soon as you sign up, you are assigned a consultant. And then at that point in time, they will work with you on a one-on-one basis. So with that said, I'll turn over to the group and ask, what questions do you have as far as how we can assist you and the next steps for you?
And just to add to that as well, we also have our Latino resource, business resource center with 2 bilingual consultants. So we try as best we can to recognize, our diverse community, especially in Berks County. And we have those services as well. And we partner with other SBDC centers in promoting those programs, and different banks. We're going to offer 4 or 5-part series, all bilingual, all in Spanish, to help those underserved communities as well.
Perfect. Thank you, John.
Yep.
So what questions do we have? I know you guys have burning questions. You're on the end of your seat and you want to know more about how the SBDC can help you. So what questions do you have? I hear a lot of crickets out there.
I'm curious, how many people even knew about the SBDC? Were you aware of it?
Funny you say that, Judy. So I've been with the SBDC for 5 years, and every time I run into people, they're like, we didn't know you were out there. I wish I knew you were there, So, a lot of people find us through either talking to someone else or the organizations that we partner with. So we partner with SCORE, which helps nonprofit businesses, the SBA, and again, our different partners, so people kind of find out that way, or through different events, that we attend to just kind of showcase how we can assist. But there was something recent, probably a year ago, where the undercover, CEO, and I think that was out in Pittsburgh. But the point is, they went in, they helped them, and then kind of the SBDC was noted, said, oh, we didn't even know you did that. But the point is, we are the best kept secret, but the point is, we don't want to be the best kept secret anymore. We really, really want to help. So, let us know how we can assist you. So is there a question in the chat? Are there any grants for African American community that focus on reducing health disparities? I'm not sure of an answer to that. I don't know if anyone else can chime in.
You may be able to go to the Governor's Action Team. I think it's GAT.com maybe. There's over 150 different state government grants that through through this pandemic that they offer. There could be something like that in there. I'm not absolutely certain, but it's definitely something worth checking and looking into on that site.
You know, if you're thinking about grants, not specifically for yourself, but you know, to start looking at some of the issues of health disparities, which I think is a very worthwhile topic, considering the situation we're in right now. I know that there are a number of foundations locally that will fund this kind of research, and the hospitals. For example, the Berks County Community Foundation has done some work in this area, and I believe and I know they have staff on board that specifically focus on minority issues. In addition to that, there's the Why I'm Missing Foundation, Janssen Foundation, I think as well. There are some organizations out there, and the hospitals, they have a foundation too. They are, you know, they really do want to serve our community. So if somebody has an idea for that, that's something, you know, worth pursuing. And
I think also looking into the nonprofit world might be beneficial for that avenue as well. I know my sister actually runs the Tri-County Network nonprofit, which is like a 3-county nonprofit, and they do a lot of research and things like that, and grant proposal writing as well. That if there isn't a grant out there, let's see if we can create one or, you know, develop one. So that would be a good route to go as well.
The question is from Elizabeth, and it says, is a 501c3 nonprofit arts organization considered a small business?
Yes and no. We don't. One of the things that we're a little hamstrung with at the SBDC Center is we're not allowed to work with an individual wanting to start a nonprofit. So what we typically do is we'll partner with our partner at SCORE, which helps individuals start a nonprofit. But as soon as you're classified, like it's like for a for-profit example, as soon as you get an LLC, that doesn't necessarily mean you're a business. You have to do some kind of activity or some kind of something business related to start the business, like buying a building or leasing space or something tangible like that. Like I started a path to my business to be under the SBDC terms and guidelines to be classified as a business. But as soon as you get an LLC, you're a registered business. So it's pretty similar in the nonprofit world. As soon as you get that designation, then you're officially a nonprofit business. But in terms of help, I think he should just put that link in the chat with our SCORE partner. Yep. We basically will help with all the business consulting and services that we currently do, but they're just there to partner with us so we meet all the rules and guidelines of the SBA for Pennsylvania.
Right. Perfect. Thank you, John. And in reference to SCORE, you know, again, we support 5 counties, and one of my offices is in Chester County, and I have 2 SCORE partners. So a lot of times when we run our meetings, you know, initially, I will sit in the meeting with SCORE, we'll sit with the client and really understand, again, what are their needs, their business plan, their financial piece. But once we identify that they are for a nonprofit, I pretty much kind of turn it over to SCORE, still help, you know, with helping with the business plan, but really their area of expertise is more with nonprofits as opposed to, you know, what Kutztown, you know, it's for profit. But again, great partners, you know, that we work with. I did put in their information, so you can go to their website and request a mentor to assist you. So yes, great partners. And again, we are willing to definitely work with you and SCORE as well.
I saw Catherine put a question in the chat. Catherine, are you talking about, you mean where you're located area-wise?
Yeah, say if you have an idea and maybe this is not the area for it, maybe there's a better place that you think I would do good at, like say I wanted a softball camp or something like that, and you know, okay, this is not the area, but over here they have a need for that because the kids don't have anything. You know, would you give us?
Oh, sure. Yeah, we look at it a couple of different ways. We do market research reports, so we kind of see what competition of a similar idea is out there and what they're doing, sort of thing, and then kind of determine if you're better routed for like a nonprofit or something, whatever the case may be, we'll either help you at our center or we'll link you with a trusted partner of ours that specializes in, say, nonprofit. But if it's something we can help you with, then we definitely guide you on, what the market's going to look like and guide you on, developing the business plan and maybe tweaking this or tweaking that to sort of set yourself apart.
John, you mentioned an LLC earlier. For those who don't know, can you explain what an LLC is and the benefits to having an LLC?
Yeah, so there's different kinds of corporations when you start a business. One of them is an LLC. It's a limited liability corporation, meaning if you were just starting a corporation, I just started a business and I'm incorporated. If something happens, whether it's, somebody gets hurt or somebody's suing you or something happens and you owe money, they're going to come at you personally and with the business. So they're going to suck up all your business dollars and then they're going to come after you personally and you're liable for it. So with an LLC, in essence, that limits that liability. It limits your exposure to getting sued personally. They can do something under the business, but they can't then take your house or your car or come after you in other ways.
Thank you for that, John. And on that note, I also wanted to mention, there's different types of, entities to structure your business. One of the things we don't do is say, okay, Winton, you should start an LLC or, a partnership. But we do partner with, to Judy, her alumni, Penn State. So we have a Penn State legal team, and I know John's working on another initiative as far as legal advice. So that's something that the SBDC does not do. However, we have partners that can help you kind of guide you with setting up, the structure of your business and also advising you on different legal areas. Another excellent resource is the SBA .gov, how to start a business. It's actually an awesome resource that it's a nice little handbook, to kind of walk you through the steps, setting up. The first thing is, setting up your the business, is it going to be the LLC, going through, giving the options and explaining what they are. The other piece is, the business plan template. So there's so many different pieces and it's almost like a checklist to help you. And usually when I'm teaching the class, I always have that guide with me for the students. And I also give them the link that they can go online and obtain additional information. Again, I know it's a lot of information, but we're here to help you. We're going to hold your hand as you go through. It's not, here you go, good luck with your business. We're definitely a partner, to help you out with establishing your business.
Those are excellent points. And added to that too, with the legal sort of component, we try to partner with as many different things as we can to help as many situations. So we also just developed the partnership with a patent company that sort of walks you through the whole process A to Z and provides help and assistance for up to a year after, where something like that, you're going to pay a lawyer $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 to do. They're doing it for minimal, $100 compared to that. So it's sort of, you're getting that expertise. That's another avenue. We partner with somebody called Biz Clarity. It's a pitch doctor, the pitch doctor. So he will sit there and critique a pitch presentation you're going to do to a potential investor, somebody that wants to give you money. He'll advise you, critique it and hone it in so it has the most impact. So we try to go in many different branches as we can to partner. That way we can provide as much benefit to the community as we can and help as many people as we can.
Right. And thank you for that, John. So John mentioned about the pitch doctor. So yes, and I've actually, originally we had sessions in Chester County, had several companies there. And let me tell you, you think you're on Shark Tank, and it's a good thing though, because he's preparing you, for either some type of, funding or, just organizing your business and just making sure that you are answering the questions, to get the funding that you need, And also making, what's making you different. My thing is always, what's the secret sauce behind your business? What makes you so unique that instead of going to Bala, who I know Bala, and Bala's been through our program and a few other items, so hi Bala, or Winton, why should we go to either one of you for either, your coffee business or, your IT business? So again, just finding out how can we make you different, what is the secret sauce behind your business, and just how we can partner and help you grow. That's really the bottom line. And on another note, to John's point about the pitch doctor, one of the pieces that we do, with our 8-week, at the end of that, we actually do a Shark Tank event, and it's a lot of fun. And at the end of it, everyone pitches their product, and usually there's prizes, and we have a lot of fun, especially when it was live. But we also did that out in Coatesville. And there were over 50 people. It was awesome. But just everyone had the opportunity to present their product. And at the end of the day, just small little prizes, but just a lot of fun and, getting you ready for, launching your business. So just wanted to mention that. Looks like there's another question, and it looks like it's more so, advice on structuring your business. On that one, we can take that offline. Again, it's an area that we don't advise on, but we can definitely, steer you to our legal team for further advice on that.
I have a question.
Yes. Hi, Judy.
Thank you. So, many of the people that I meet that are entrepreneurs, I guess because of my ag background, they might have, an idea of, something that they grow to make salsas or sauces or things of that nature. Yeah, so they need specialized equipment or, a specialized site because of health regulations. You can't always just do this in your home kitchen. Can you give entrepreneurs advice on, how to find the appropriate place and most low cost, because you're starting off, in terms of getting your business off the ground from the site perspective?
We have a consultant that specializes in international trade and agriculture. He just developed a contract with the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture and has a lot of ties and partnerships that we can sort of help an individual with that exact, industry and field, agriculture and farming. I know there's a lot of different types of programs and advantages that can be taken to help a business like that start or grow. Perfect.
Thank you. I was going to mention Marty, but yeah, he has tons of experience and really can help, you in that, and to understand better, what that industry looks like, what you need to do to get started. And then the other piece, as I heard the question, was an incubator, trying to find out, if there's a food incubator or something like that. I know in Bethlehem, I know there's one, I believe in Reading, I believe there's one, and outside of Westchester. But anyway, but that would be
Pottstown as well. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Pottstown as well, I just found out has one, yeah.
Yep. So that would be definitely a great start. And again, if you need information on that, we definitely can, steer you in the right direction on that.
Great, thank you. Because I think that's an issue for some people for sure.
It is.
Hey, I see another question in the chat. Should you be financially debt-free if or when you decide to start a business? And should you have a business degree or experience?
All right. So as far as, being financially debt free, we have a lot of clients, and one as far as the 8-week classes, our last session that we did, we actually brought in kind of financial experts, to help entrepreneurs to better understand, what is your credit score, financing, from 1 to 10, the things and the steps that you need to take, to better prepare you, from to try to obtain an SBA loan, what they look for, do you need 10, 20% down? Should you go with a 7A or 504? What type of lending, would be available based on your credit score? But again, the bottom line is we do have resources. We bring them in as far as credit counseling and kind of getting you, again, how can I say, set up and ready, to launch your business. So I'm going to switch it over to John. I know you don't need a degree in, business.
I would
you really
say
have to have a passion for what you're doing, and others will follow. Go ahead, John.
I would echo that as well. I would definitely say, no, you don't have to have a degree. Yes, you do have to have, in my opinion, from personal experience. Well, first of all, debt isn't a bad thing, especially in business. Debt's actually a good thing. It helps with your cash flow. It helps with your credit. It helps prove to banks that it's not necessarily a bad thing. So it's not a bad thing to have debt before going into business. I started a business when I was in my early 20s and I knew nothing, and it showed, and it didn't last long. But I think you do need some kind of, in terms of business, you need some kind of knowledge, working knowledge of like accounting per se. Like you need some system to record what you're doing, right? Like if I'm selling apples, I need to enter that I sold 3 apples and how much they were, and if I paid anybody to be employed, if I wrote a check out to somebody for something. You need a record of that and an understanding of how to do that monthly and budget so you can pay your rent, pay your utilities, pay your people, pay your inventory. There's different ways of doing that. Like, a cash method is just in and out. I'm just in and out with cash. Accrual method is, I know the electric bill is going to be $90 next month. I'm going to accrue for it this month. So there's different methods, but just to have a basic, like QuickBooks, simplest thing to do, easiest thing to do, to install, to understand, is to just do QuickBooks, and it'll just, you plug the amount in and you list a category for, I bought paper towels. I'm a janitorial company. So how much do I spend in paper towels per year? Oh, well, I key that to the same thing every month. So just, I would say, have a working knowledge of the accounting, and then your sort of business acumen will grow even if you don't have it right out of the gate. It's a dream and a passion. You care about it. You'll invest your time and learn as you go, but definitely an accounting background, in my opinion.
Perfect. Thank you, John. And on another note, I should say, ties right into what John was saying. One of the things that we do offer is part of the 8-week is actually a class on. We will bring someone in for QuickBooks just to give you an idea of what to, put into the system, the system of record. And also we have Mark Rentschler, who's been with the SBDC for about 7-8 years. He works out of the chamber there in Reading. Mark has been awesome with helping me with classes. So he will go through the financials, the do's and don'ts, the financial templates, showing you how to account for the paper towels, things like that, so your startup expense, your ongoing expense, and just breaking that down and showing you how to use the tools. And then also, as you're going through creating that template, preparing you to apply for a loan that you may need. So again, I don't want to give away everything tonight, more to come. So, if you're interested again in the class, I definitely will share the information with Jamie that we can get that out to everyone, so we can share more. On another note, John mentioned accounting. The one thing that I always tell my entrepreneurs when I'm partnering with them, there's 2 things that you can not afford, I hope I said that right, to have. And one is a really good attorney, and another one is a good accountant. So really make sure, you have those resources when you're going to launch your business. Because what you don't want to have is you're signing for a location in Reading, you sign off on that lease, and you don't get the funding for it, you're liable, responsible for making those payments. So make sure, that, everything's kind of lined up, you have everything reviewed, before you start your business.
Outstanding resources. I really appreciate the information that you offer. One of the things I was going to say, well, gee, would you hold a class in Reading? But you're doing this online, so yeah, it's available anywhere, right?
That's correct. And we, again, Judy, we usually run it as in the spring and the fall. Again, the 8-week Skills for Success is actually coming up. I want to say March the 17th is on a Thursday evening from 6 to 8. So we run 2 sessions. Josephina, who runs the LBRC, so the Latino Resource Business Center, she runs it on a Tuesday night from 6 to 8. I run the class on a Thursday evening from 6 to 8. And it's just a really awesome experience because people just really kind of open up. We have a lot of fun. And again, usually it's at the chamber, but we've done it online and it really works out very well that everyone can just have the opportunity to be exposed to, the resources that we have to offer, help you really flush out your ideas. And again, at the end, we do a Shark Tank, and we usually have a dinner and a graduation, but the last time we couldn't, but that's okay. We still have a lot of fun.
My favorite part sounds like the pitch doctor.
It's so much fun. He's tough.
It's an experience.
He's really tough. But and even our the last time we had a couple of bankers in and just different individuals for our Shark Tank event. And it's a lot of fun. So but anyway.
Well, thank you.
The pitch doctor's an experience.
Yeah,
I've sat there and watched him do it, and he could be really harsh or not. But you have to be prepared for it. That's the one thing I'll say.
One of the things I wanted to ask you specifically is I recall you working to put together a directory of African-American businesses. I'd like you to talk a little bit about that effort, and some of those folks are on this call. Maybe they'd be willing to, say something about their businesses too. You can be our guide to that.
Yeah, so last summer, I thought about, I want to support Black-owned businesses, and specifically in Reading, I was thinking about what Black-owned businesses do we have here to support? So I began to ask my parents, some family members, some friends, and started to put a list together of businesses in the city, minority-owned, Black-owned, that we could support. Because I truly believe that if we come together as a community, especially during times like this with the pandemic, when it's hard on everyone, especially small businesses, that can really go a long way and help everyone in the city.
Where is that available? How, for the rest of us that would like to access something like that to support businesses, how can we find out about it?
So I originally published the list on Facebook, which is still there. I know the Reading Eagles shared it, and there's a link to my Facebook with it. I also created a website, which I'll post in the chat, that stores the list. And I'll also emailed the list to many people, many business owners as well. I can also drop my email in the chat below.
Is the list expanding?
Yes. Ever since I posted the list, it's been expanding. I feel like at least 3 times a week, maybe even every day sometimes. I get a new request on Facebook or different social media asking to be added to the list, or new business owners telling me to update like their information, or just ways to improve the list so that people can continue to support minority-owned businesses in the city.
I think that was such an outstanding idea. And
that's a great idea.
Yeah, I know. We need to be on that list.
yeah, Winston, you should definitely even look into Rotary International. They're trying to form a chapter in Berks County and basically have clubs. So that could be like a creation of a gigantic club that networks every month and meets and discusses, and that's a really good idea.
Thanks, John. Yeah, I'll look into that. And thanks, Jamie. I see Jamie has posted the link in the chat. So if anyone on this call wants to look into it.
You should look into maybe developing that some more into like a nonprofit kind of thing where you have a community of members and you're developing initiatives and programs to support your own businesses. That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Are there any of the minority-owned businesses that I had on that list? Are there any business owners here on the Zoom today that would like to share their experiences of owning a minority-owned business in the city?
Just tell us what it is.
Well, I think most of you know about the drum, and I now publish it every other month. The next edition will be out in April, and I try to celebrate Black success. So what I try to do in each edition is talk about somebody doing something great. So what I'm going to be doing is write about some of the people here. I'm probably going to be calling Keisha and I might even write about Bal. Bal has been in the drum lately. I'm going to write about some of you and what you're doing, because we just want to, what you do with your success is you inspire others. So I'm going to be contacting some of you here, and all we try to do is to celebrate success. And the next one will be out in April. Then there'll be one in June, August, October, and December. And some of you here, I'll be contacting you just to talk about your business and about your success, and because again, you inspire others. And again, I want to thank Judy for doing this. You've done so much for all of us here, and we're so appreciative. And Winton, you've been a star for us, what you're doing. So my gratitude to all of you. What you did was just overwhelming. And of course, Stacy, you set this up, so you're always giving us all a boost.
She's the education director as well.
Sounds great.
Dr. Ampry, quick question for you. The drum, this wasn't something that you originated, was it? Was this already existing and you took it over and kept it going?
I started in 2002.
Okay.
And I've done it off and on. I stopped around 2010. I started up again about a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Now in DC, my grandkids and kids live down in the DC area. There's a daily drum on a Black WHUR radio station where they come on and give news every day. And of course, the drum has been a symbol for and a medium of communication in Africa. And so there are lots of people who use this term around the world, but I've done it here since 2002. And my only purpose is just to celebrate success. I think one of the things that happens is that so much of our negative things get in the paper, so we need to find the positive things, and oftentimes they go unnoticed. So some of you here, you're going to be, I'll be contacting you, and the Waples family's done a lot of great things, and we had Stash in the last edition. And so I'll be contacting some of you here about what you're doing. Bala is a former student at Kutztown who I've watched take off and do well. And of course, what I find fascinating about him is that I knew him as Daniel Peterson. And I said, how come you Bala? Where's this Bala come from? And he said, well, there's so many Daniel Petersons, but there are not a lot of Balas. And he's unique also because you still speak Dutch. Have you forgotten it, Bala? You don't use it anymore? But
in such a long time, sir.
But you probably speak some African languages, I guess. You ever use them?
Not as much as I should. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm asking the wrong questions.
It's all right. It's okay.
No, we don't want to put anybody on the spot. But
I'm going to be writing about most of you here. I'll be calling you off the air and getting articles about you guys in the next few editions of the drum, and because I need to celebrate Black success. And if anybody wants to advertise, let me know, because as you probably know, we exist on advertising. We're also online as well as hard copy. And so if you want to advertise, we're grateful. Judy, you've advertised more than once, and we're most appreciative. So I think I've said enough already. I tend to get started. I won't shut up, so you can shut me up. I've been talking too much.
Oh, Dr. Ampry, we're huge fans of you, sir. You're awesome.
You're so kind.
Sorry, if I could just add one thing. Just thank you for having this forum. This is awesome. Brad and I were having a conversation in the DMs on the down low. I think one of the things that Stacy, just to call you out a little bit, I think one of the things that would help us is that I know when I was going through the process of running the business here in Reading, it was not easy. It was really, really, really hard. And it's a struggle. And Brad knows this struggle. It's real. And you know, there's just saying that you don't know what you don't know. And so there's this element of mentorship. But there's also this, I think there's a camaraderie that I think we Black folk have a unique type of struggle with business. For me, I struggle with services business and trying to get into some doors. And so I think the people on this call, I think one of the things that could help all of us is just getting together and just talking about the struggle. The SBDC is a fantastic resource. Keisha, you know me, I know you. Y'all are great. but there was a time that I didn't even know that I needed bookkeeping the right way, right? And I got into awful debt. It crippled the business for a little bit. And so it's just this kind of, and I think the NAACP can be that resource to help at least facilitate this place where we can have these conversations and be real about it. Because half of the time we don't even know what the questions are. And so I think this is great. I hope it's just more than a monthly thing. Judy, you're awesome, by the way.
I don't know about that, but I'm open to doing anything that would be helpful, that lifts people up in our community.
Yeah.
So give us the ideas.
Absolutely, that's what we're all about too. We have goals and metrics, and yeah, sure, but at the end of the day, we're trying to help our community and make an impact and help people achieve their dreams. That's the bottom line.
I echo that. And honestly, I think this is an awesome forum. And again, Judy, if we can continue that, I'm definitely open. To me, I mean, I'm kind of a night owl. So this works, in the evenings, if that works for the group, just let us know. We're definitely available, to partner. And again, at this point in time, with COVID, so many of my entrepreneurs, they just want to talk. They want someone to hear them and kind of flush out ideas. So, we're here, just as your sounding board. So we look forward to the opportunity to continue to partner.
And if anybody needs any advice on like general bookkeeping or like just an intro to what QuickBooks is, or just let me know. I did it for years and years and years and worked at banks and prior life stuff, but did bookkeeping in QuickBooks for years and years and years, so I have familiarity with it.
I see some of our folks have posted their businesses in the chat, and I'll save the chat so that I can look those up, and I'll look up Witten's guide as well. Thank you, Witten, for providing that information to us, and thank you for hosting tonight. We don't, I'm anxious to hear what people think. What can we do to be helpful? How can we, I think Reading is a very entrepreneurial place. If you really look at our community overall, and particularly our Latino and our African American community, a lot of small businesses. We hear about it because people call us about what state resources are available. So we gave you a little bit of information about that. Most of this that I talked about tonight and Tom talked about is related to COVID. Those funds to help you, restore your business in many ways. But some of you are just starting out or thinking about starting out. There are resources out there as well, starting with, of course, the SBDC, but we're willing to look into those issues for you as well. I don't know, Tom, if you want to comment on that at all.
Sure. There are, in addition to the Small Business Development Center, the State Department of Community and Economic Development has a entrepreneur's guide that's available on their website. I'm not sure if Jamie posted that, but I think she can post the link. There are also specific programs to provide capital to small and diverse businesses. It's a specific program. I'll just hold up this. I don't think anybody can read it, but that's one of the programs that's available. There's some, as part of that initiative, the Commonwealth has procurement priorities for certain minority and women-owned businesses. I believe Small Business Development Center can help with that as well. So there are some opportunities depending on what type of business you have, whether it's a service or whether you're providing products. You can do business with the Commonwealth, generally administered through the Department of General Services, but that is out there as well. So there's a lot of information there and a lot of opportunity there through the Commonwealth. It's just hooking the entrepreneur, the business owner up with those resources. And that's what Small Business Development Center and we can help accomplish.
We can absolutely help with that. Our Procurement Technical Assistance Center, PTAC Center, can help with procuring government contracts and certifications
Yes, and actually, thank you for that. There's quite a few webinars. I did post the link to our Facebook, but there's quite a few webinars that are actually coming up for women-owned certification, for PPP, different loans. So please take advantage, sign up for those. Again, they're all free. So if you have any questions, just let us know.
Great. I see Patty Lashinsky from the Berks Launchbox is with us tonight, and Patty posted in the in the chat about what she can help with as well. Patty, you want to unmute, offer anything at all?
Yeah, sorry. Good evening. I have 3 kids at home, all doing homework, but
It's okay.
but no, this is a great forum. We are due early stage development. People come in every day. We are located at the Goggle Works downtown Reading. But people come in they have an idea for an app. They have a cure for heart disease with pomegranate juice and fig juice. It's amazing the innovation that we have in Reading. And we're here to help early stage. And we work with the SBDC and SCORE, all the different organizations that you mentioned tonight. We're just there downtown. You can drop in or make an appointment with Michelle, Lisa, or myself. It's just amazing, like I said, all the innovation that's there, but people get overwhelmed. And it's nice to have that face-to-face contact, just a conversation of what's the first step. And you guys mentioned about the Penn State Law Clinic. There's a Penn State intellectual property clinic. So there's so many resources. And I think as we've started, there are so many resources out there. It's just finding them. So I really appreciate what you're doing, guys.
Some of the businesses that posted, Brad Wapple's Custom It Printing and Production Services. I know Pagoda Apparel has posted their information in the chat. There's one up here, Stubbs Cleaning Services. She's So Clean, Cleaning and Laundry Service. I'm going to check that one out myself. Let's see what else we saw in there. Oh, Magisterial District Judge Tanya Butler also offers part-time legal services. So folks are putting, you're out there, and it's important that we support you. So we'll try to get that information out, in not only just tonight, but on maybe one of our e-blasts, or try to get it out to our bigger and wider audience.
And Judy, thank you for doing this. Stacy, thank you for your role in this. And Winton, thank you for what you've done to support us. Thank you, Tom. We really appreciate just the opportunity to interact tonight. It's been really a blessing for all of us. Thank you, Keisha. Thank you, John. Thank you so much.
Any closing remarks?
Yes. The NAACP would like to thank you, Senator Schwank, Jamie, Keisha, Tom, John, for speaking tonight, and everyone for attending. I learned a lot, and I'm sure everyone here has learned a lot as well. We have a number of Black-owned businesses in our city, in our county. Please continue to share this information beyond this call with each other and continue to support one another. And this was one of many events that the NAACP is offering during Black History Month. Please check out the other events, including Sunday's event with Pastor Alec of Zion Baptist Church. And I would just like to say thank you all once again. Be safe in the snow and with the pandemic, everything going on.
Thank you, Winton. You really are a great host for something like this. I really appreciate it. And thanks to everybody who participated. And, to our special guests, Keisha and John, that I learned a lot more about SBDC than I knew before. So thank you. And stay in touch with us, folks. Stacy, something to talk about in terms of setting up an entrepreneurs club or something within the NAACP to reach people. So,
Senator Schwank, can I just say one thing? I'm sorry. We also have, the city of Reading has a restaurant passport going right now. We have passports in 5 Black-owned businesses. There's passports in Beckett's, on Walnut Street, Franklin's, on Penn Street. We have Earl Lucas, the Grill and Then Chill on 4th Street. There's one at Dolly's Delights, which I just heard of myself. She's out in West Lawn, and Cherry's Jamaican Delight on Penn Avenue. And so what happens is you can go to any one of those restaurants and pick up a passport, and whoever visits all 5 restaurants in the month of February is entered to win is entered into a drawing to win a gift card to one of the restaurants. So we ask you all to support that effort as well, so that our Black-owned restaurants can grow, and hopefully next year we will expand that to other Black-owned businesses. But this is just something that we thought of quickly, and so we ask you to pick up a passport and enjoy, some food this month. Thank you.
No, thanks for bringing that up, Tanya. That's excellent. February is halfway over, guys. We better get busy if we're going to get to all 5 of those restaurants. And looks like tomorrow night might be out of the question, depending upon the weather. But thanks for bringing that up. I'll take you up on it for sure. And again, thank you everybody for being here tonight. I really appreciate it for sure.